Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to another episode of the Metal Meltdown. Today, I am taking over, as well as Chompy, and we're going to be discussing our top 5 stoner metal albums. Yay, Chompy! He's a big stoner!
That makes sense. He seems like he's a big stoner.
He's green.
Also, he's from Florida.
Yeah.
I was more so thinking about that.
Yeah, that's a good point, but he is green. That kind of adds to it.
By the way, guys, I am here. I'm just exhausted.
That's okay.
Happy 420, I guess.
Yeah, happy 420!
That makes sense to say.
It's Thursday, right?
It is, but it's uploaded Wednesday.
No, I was just thinking, because, what am I going to do for 420? Because, it's on a Thursday. I guess I can.
You can listen to all these albums that we're talking about.
Yeah! That's perfect!
Oh my god. It's almost as if I timed it that way and that we did it that way.
I don't think we have all these albums, though.
We have one of them.
Okay. We do have one of them.
You're more than welcome to whip it out.
The first album on my list is Dopethrone by Electric Wizard, which we do have here. Hell yeah. I think this might be the only record we have that's on my list, but I will double check. This album is, the quintessential stoner doom album. It is dark, it is creepy, but at the same time, you really just want to go into your own universe when you're listening to this album because of how droning it is. I remember times where I would literally just take a bath and smoke and sit and listen to this album just because it just takes you to another world. It's unlike any other stoner doom album. If you really want to get into stoner doom, I would say to look up Electric Wizard because they're just exactly what you would want from spooky stoner doom. This album really does sound like if Satan took a very fat bong rip and decided to record music. As I said before, this album is a must listen if you're really looking to get into stoner doom. There's a lot of different elements on this album. It can be kind of angry and aggressive, but at the same time really mellow. Yeah, this album is fucking great and absolutely on my top 5. The next album on my list is Stone Jesus, Seven Thunders Roar. Obviously, with a name like Stone Jesus, how can I not have this on my list? This album in particular is a lot more lighter than Electric Wizard, of course. It has a little bit more of a rock and roll element to it. It still has doom elements on a lot of the songs. For example, I Am the Mountain starts off slow, kind of like a storytelling moment, and then builds up into this crescendo. It kind of explodes into sound, and you just want to bang your head and freak out because it's tons of fun. You have this moment of sorrow and sadness almost, like someone is realizing who they are, but then it gets into this moment where it's really high up and you just want to jump around and have fun with the song. This album is a bit more emotionally versatile. As I said with I Am the Mountain, it's a bit more of a slower song. It does crescendo, but compared to something like Electric Mistress, which is a jam from start to end, it's a lot more faster, it's a lot more rock and roll, a lot more heavy metal. Near the end of the song, though, it does dip into an actual doom song, so that's fun. I really like just that transition. It's not something you're expecting from a song that is really fast and fun. In general, Stone Jesus is a band that I enjoy listening to even when I'm not smoking. They did just release a new album called Father Light. I still have to listen to more of that, but I really liked one of the songs on the album. I can't remember the name. But anyways, Stone Jesus is a fantastic band, and they're very versatile. And if you're looking for a stoner jam that isn't as heavy, I would say to check out Stone Jesus for sure. Another album on my list I think is an obvious choice. Black Sabbath, Master of Reality. I actually have the album right here. I know that technically speaking, they're not really a stoner doom band. It kind of depends on your definition. Over time, I think we've started to look at Black Sabbath and their works as more of a stoner metal band. But once again, it depends on you. I personally think they would fall into that category. There's a lot of what they do that stoner bands like Electric Wizard wouldn't be doing without Black Sabbath.
If I may interject, there's a lot of stuff that happens in stoner metal and stoner rock that you can trace directly back to Masters of Reality.
Exactly. There's a song on here called Orchid, actually, and then there's actually a stoner metal band named Orchid. And
There's a stoner rock band called Master of Reality, for that matter.
Orchid, actually, their style and their look is directly from Black Sabbath, and their sound, too. Like, exactly. And of course, because the song Sweet Leaf is on there, which is the stoner metal song, it's absolutely... How can you not want to have this song on your list? It's perfect. Right away, you're introduced in this song to just coughing, and you know it's gonna be some kind of crazy stoner shit, because nobody starts a song with coughing without it having to do with smoking. And then you go into these lurching riffs, once again is also exactly what a lot of stoner metals copy from Black Sabbath and take from them. I mean, not like entirely copy, but you know, very inspired by Black Sabbath. I think it's a quintessential sound to stoner metal. And he has this kind of love story with Sweet Leaf. And in my mind, I kind of picture Sweet Leaf as a person, like she's kind of the personification of Mary Jane. And it's kind of this love story, which I can honestly relate to. She changed my whole life. This might not be a crazy stoner song on the album, but Children of the Grave is a fucking killer song, so I could not mention it when I'm talking about this album. It is kind of, I would say, exactly the entry point which makes this album a doom metal album. In general, Master of Reality is a masterpiece, and it's worth a listen if you somehow have not listened to this incredible album. Next album I have on the list is Fu Manchu, King of the Road. Once again, this album isn't super heavy metal, but it is a stoner classic. Right away, the first song and the title track, King of the Road, takes you on an adventure. It feels almost as if Mad Max, but if Mad Max was a fucking stoner. You just picture yourself while listening to this song driving down in some dirty old van that's brown and full of shag carpet and reeks of marijuana. What adds to the stoner element of this album is that a lot of the songs on here are kind of funny and silly. Like, Weird Beard is so silly, and you kind of just want to sing along to it because of that chorus. In general, this album makes me feel like I went on the most craziest road trip of my life, speeding down the highway, smoking a lot, drinking, eating, having a party, just having fun with being an animal and a crazy freak. This is a lot more lighter than the previous albums mentioned, so it is easier for you to introduce to friends. This album was made in 2000, but honestly, listening to it, you could think this came from 1979. It's an incredible album, and give it a listen if you haven't.
What is the final album anyway? I actually never saw her list beforehand, folks, so I got no idea. What is it?
Yeah, it's my final album. It's Weedeater, Jason the Dragon.
Wow. Wait, it's called Jason the Dragon?
Yeah.
Not Chasing?
No, Jason the
That's
Dragon.
silly.
See? There's a dragon, and his name is Jason.
His name is Jason.
I would talk to a dragon named Jason.
We
That
should
sounds
set
friendly.
him up on a play date with Chompy.
Yeah, they'd be best friends. What adds to the unconventional nature of this album is the introduction of bluegrass riffs. Like the track Palms and Opium, it starts off with these Western-style guitars, and you can hear the palms in the background, and the bugs in the back, the crickets, and then you have someone with clean vocals singing over someone growling. It's kind of strange because of this bluegrass sound, but it's honestly really enjoyable and so different and unique. I wish more bands would kind of do something like that with bluegrass. Another song that adds to this is the final track, Whiskey Creek, which goes full on with the banjo, which I love, by the way. It sounds like you're sitting at a campfire smoking. You can kind of hear the nature in the background. It's kind of ambient and relaxing. But don't think that this is a country metal album. There's a lot of sludge and doom. Like the song Turkey Warlock, which is a fucking great name. I don't know how they came up with that. I want to know how. But this is a doom metal album, specifically a stoner doom album through and through. For God's sake, their name is Weedeater. So that's my list, but as an honorable mention, I do have on my list Led Zeppelin 2. It's not stoner metal, but it absolutely fits the vibe. It is fucking Led Zeppelin, come on. That album is incredible start to finish. Ramble On, holy fuck. Every song on here is a masterpiece. I'm sorry. This is a great album. I think this might be my favorite Led Zeppelin album. I think we have Zeppelin 2.
We do.
Yeah. I absolutely fucking love Bring It On Home. Like that intro, that blues intro. Holy shit. And then it goes on to those guitars and you just hear them singing and they're...
Can we just say that's an absurdly heavy song for like fucking
right?
1971?
Right?
Or whenever
it
it came out.
When it stopped, there's like that blues, and then it just hits you with that heaviness, and you're like, yeah.
A whole lot of love too.
Fuck.
With like all the like vocal dynamics and like the thunderous percussion, and then like just that absolute like just fucking oozing guitar solo.
I think we need to fucking sit down and listen to this album again.
We do.
Which is great. It's also awesome to smoke to, so that's maybe what I'm going to do later. So that's my list. Now it's your turn to tell me what your favorite stoner metal albums are. Press this button to subscribe. Hey look, more videos. And remember, have a fantastic fucking day. Alright, Johnny. Look at his little hands. His hands are so silly. Look at him. He doesn't have fingers. He has like mittens. Bye-bye.
Fuck off!
My foot's asleep.